There is a saying, when you put a heavy stone on the ground, it does not complain. It simply carries the weight because it knows it is strong enough. In life we too carry many stones, responsibilities, expectations, judgments, and struggles. Some people allow these stones to crush them, others learn how to transform them into stepping stones. That is the difference between a woman who feels stressed and a woman who knows her worth. Strength does not come from never being tired. It comes from knowing who you are even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. The truth is very simple. A woman who understands her value does not ask for permission to shine. She does not beg for acceptance. She does not measure herself against what society thinks she should be. She knows her worth, and because she knows no one can take it away. There is a quiet power in this. When you are aware of your own worth, you stop carrying the weight of other people's opinions. You stop living under the shadow of doubt. You begin to walk with a calmness that others cannot explain. Some will say it is confidence, some will say it is courage, but it is not forced. It is simply the natural expression of someone who is no longer blind to their inner strength. Think about this. Water can be soft, it can flow gently, and yet the same water can carve valleys and wear down mountains. A woman who knows her worth is like that water. She does not always need to fight loudly. Her strength is not in constant resistance. Her strength is in presence, in patience, in persistence. When difficulties come, she does not break, she adapts, she bends, she continues to move forward until even obstacles cannot stand against her. Many people live their whole lives searching for approval. They want others to tell them that they are good enough, but the woman who knows her worth no longer chases after that approval. She understands that her value does not increase or decrease because of another person's opinion. This freedom is powerful. It allows her to focus on growth instead of fear. It allows her to rise above stress because she is not chained to doubt anymore. A woman who knows her worth does not seek validation. She embodies it. This truth is powerful, yet many people forget it. Inner strength, training, and self-discipline in their daily lives. Too often we find ourselves looking outward, waiting for someone else to tell us that we are enough, that we are strong, that we are beautiful, that we are worthy. But when a woman knows her own worth, she no longer plays this endless waiting game. She carries a light within her that does not need to be fueled by the approval of others. It shines naturally because it is a part of who she is. A validation from others is fragile. It comes and goes. It rises and falls with the changing moods and opinions of people. Today someone may praise you. Tomorrow the same person may criticize you. If your value depends on such external recognition, you will always feel unstable. You will rise and fall with every comment, every reaction, every judgment. But when you stop searching for validation and instead embody your own worth, you stand firm no matter what storms surround you. This is the strength of a woman who knows her true value. Think about a tree that stands tall in the forest. The tree does not ask the other trees, "Am I tall enough? Do I look beautiful enough? Am I good enough to belong here?" It simply grows because growth is its nature. A woman who knows her worth is the same. She does not need to question her place in the world. She does not need constant reassurance. She simply lives with the quiet certainty that she is already enough. This inner certainty changes everything. It changes the way she speaks, the way she walks, the way she faces challenges. She does not beg for respect. She commands it through her presence. She does not run after attention because her energy naturally draws it. She does not fear rejection because she is already complete. This is not arrogance. It is awareness. It is not about believing you are better than anyone else, but about knowing you are not less than anyone else. When a woman begins to embody her worth, stress loses its power over her. She no longer lives in fear of disappointing others. She no longer wastes energy trying to fit into molds that were never meant for her. She no longer sacrifices her peace to chase after people's approval. Instead, she lives from a place of strength, a place of balance, a place of dignity. Stress may still knock at her door, but it does not stay long because it finds no weakness to hold on to. This kind of strength is quiet, but it is unshakable. It is not loud declarations or constant reminders to the world. It is the soft but steady glow of confidence that shines even in silence. People notice it even if they cannot describe it. They see it in her eyes, in her actions, in the way she carries herself. It is a presence that cannot be faked because it is rooted in truth. We live in a time where many voices try to tell women who they should be. The world is filled with unrealistic standards, constant comparisons, and endless pressure to perform. In such a world, the greatest freedom is to say, "I know my worth, and I do not need to prove it." That freedom is powerful because it brings peace. It gives a woman control over her life, her choices, and her direction. It shields her from being broken by every passing opinion. Their confidence-building tips for women will always be people who underestimate her, doubt her, or try to limit her. But their voices cannot touch the woman who embodies her worth. She listens, but she is not defined by them. She understands that the source of her strength is within and therefore untouchable. The judgments of others are like passing clouds. They may hide the sun for a moment, but they cannot take its light away. This is the difference between a life spent chasing validation and a life spent embodying worth. One is restless, unstable, easily shaken. The other is grounded, peaceful, and strong, and the choice is always in your hands. The moment you stop waiting for others to tell you who you are, you begin to discover the power of who you have always been. And that is why a woman who knows her worth does not seek validation. She embodies it, and through that embodiment she becomes truly strong, not stressed. Strength is not in resisting life's weight, but in carrying it with grace. Too often we are taught to believe that strength means hardness, that it means never bending, never showing pain, never admitting fear. But true strength is something different. True strength is not about being unbreakable. It is about being unshaken even when life places its heaviest burdens on your shoulders. It is not about pretending difficulties do not exist. It is about facing them with a calm spirit that does not lose its balance. When a woman knows her worth, she does not fight against every challenge as if it were her enemy. She learns to carry life's weight with dignity. She knows that some responsibilities cannot be thrown away. Some struggles cannot be avoided. Some challenges cannot be ignored. Instead of exhausting herself by resisting, she chooses to carry them with grace. This grace does not mean weakness. It means she has discovered the art of holding her ground without being consumed by stress. Imagine a river flowing around rocks. The water does not stop and cry that the rocks are unfair obstacles. It does not turn back because the path is blocked. It flows around over and sometimes even wears down the rocks. That is grace. The river does not fight against the stone with anger. It simply continues moving. In the same way, a strong woman does not waste her energy resisting what she cannot change. She adapts. She adjusts and she carries her load with elegance. There is a deep beauty in this kind of strength. When you carry life's responsibilities with grace, people notice it. They see the calmness in your eyes even when everything around you is chaotic. They see the steadiness in your step even when the ground is uneven. They see the softness in your spirit even when challenges press hard against you. This is not the absence of struggle. It is the presence of wisdom. Stress often comes when we fight against what is, when we wish life were different, when we want to control everything, when we resist reality. We become tense and restless, but grace dissolves that tension. It teaches you that you can carry what is yours to protecting your energy from negativity, carry without breaking under the weight. It shows you that strength does not always roar. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it looks like patience. Sometimes it looks like forgiveness. Sometimes it looks like letting go. A woman who understands this does not fear responsibility. She does not collapse under expectations. She does not allow pressure to harden her. Instead, she transforms that pressure into discipline, into growth, into wisdom. She understands that every challenge she carries is shaping her character. Just as fire shapes gold, weight shapes strength. And because she carries it with grace, she is never consumed by bitterness, only refined into something stronger. Think of how many women carry roles as mothers, daughters, sisters, leaders, workers, dreamers all at once. Each role brings its own weight. If they resisted these roles, they would be crushed. But those who embrace them with grace do not just survive, they inspire. Their presence alone gives hope because they prove that strength is not about force, but about balance. This balance is the essence of a woman who knows her worth. She does not take on every burden to please others, but she also does not run away from the responsibilities that belong to her. She chooses carefully what to carry and then walks forward with composure. She understands that the way she carries her struggles is just as important as the struggles themselves. That is why she is not only strong but admirable. Life will always bring weight. Challenges will never disappear. But the difference lies in how you carry them. Carry them with resentment and you become stressed. Carry them with grace and you become strong. A woman who embodies this truth shows the world that true power is not loud, not angry, not forceful. True power is steady, graceful, and unshakable, and this is why strength is not in resisting life's weight, but in carrying it with grace, because that is where the power of a woman who knows her worth truly shines. Stress fades when self-awareness takes its place. Many people live their entire lives reacting to the world outside of them, trying to meet expectations, trying to please others, trying to fulfill roles that were handed to them without question. In that constant race, stress becomes their companion. But when a woman begins to turn inward, when she begins to truly know herself, she discovers something powerful. She discovers that self-awareness is the medicine that dissolves unnecessary stress and replaces it with strength, calmness, and direction. Self-awareness is simply the ability to see yourself clearly. It is knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, and your boundaries. It is understanding what you can control and what you cannot. When a woman develops this awareness, she no longer wastes her energy fighting battles that do not belong to her. She no longer spends sleepless nights over opinions that do not matter. She no longer says yes when her heart is screaming no. Instead, she lives with intention. She makes choices that are aligned with her truth. And because of that, stress begins to lose its grip. Stress often thrives in silence's power. Why staying quiet speaks volumes. Confusion. When you are not sure who you are, you allow others to define you. When you do not know what matters to you, you take on everything that comes your way. When you do not recognize your limits, you push yourself until you collapse. But self-awareness clears this confusion. It acts like a mirror, showing you where you are and what truly belongs to you. With that clarity, you no longer live in reaction. You live in creation. You are not tossed around by the storms of life. You steer your own ship with steady hands. A woman who knows her worth through self-awareness no longer asks, "Am I enough?" Instead, she asks, "Am I being true to myself?" That shift changes everything. It takes her away from comparison and puts her into alignment. It takes her away from seeking approval and puts her into authenticity. Stress fades because she no longer feels pulled in 1,000 directions. She is centered, grounded, and focused on what really matters. Think of a candle in the wind. Without a glass cover, the flame flickers wildly, almost going out with every breath of air. That is a life without self-awareness. Constantly shaken, easily disturbed, always unstable, but place a protective glass around the candle and the flame stands tall. It still feels the presence of the wind, but it is not consumed by it. Self-awareness is that glass. It does not remove the challenges of life, but it protects your inner flame from being blown out by them. This awareness also teaches boundaries. A woman who understands herself knows when to say yes and when to say no. She knows when to give and when to step back. She knows when to push forward and when to rest. Without that awareness, life becomes a cycle of exhaustion. With it, life becomes a balance of effort and renewal. She does not burn out because she knows her rhythm. She does not crumble because she knows her strength. And because she respects herself, others learn to respect her as well. There is a deep peace that comes from this kind of awareness. It is not about controlling everything outside, but about mastering what is inside. It is about recognizing your thoughts, your emotions, your patterns, and then choosing how to respond instead of reacting blindly. This mastery removes unnecessary stress because it reminds you that you are not powerless. You always have a choice, and that choice begins with knowing yourself. A woman who embodies this truth walks differently. She is not hurried, she is not desperate, she is not lost in constant worry. Her steps are steady because they come from self-knowledge. Her voice is calm because it comes from inner clarity. Her presence is powerful because it is rooted in authenticity. She is not stressed because she is not living someone else's life. She is strong because she is living her own. And this is why stress fades when self-awareness takes its place. because a woman who knows herself can no longer be shaken by what does not belong to her. True confidence is the calm presence of knowing who you are. Many confuse confidence with loudness, with showing off, with trying to prove something to the world. But real confidence is not noise, it is presence. It is not about standing on a stage and demanding attention. It is about walking into a room and not needing anyone to becoming a "Hi, Al, you woman approve of you." When a woman knows her worth, her confidence does not come from what she wears, what she owns, or what others say about her. It comes from the simple yet powerful truth that she knows who she is. There is no greater peace than to stand in your own skin without apology, when you no longer feel the need to compete with others, when you no longer feel the need to hide parts of yourself, when you no longer fear being misunderstood. That is when confidence begins to grow. It is not something that can be borrowed, not something that can be faked for long, and not something that comes from praise. It is the natural result of self-acceptance. A woman who accepts herself fully does not need to explain her worth to anyone because she carries it within her. This confidence shows itself in silence as much as in words. It is in the way she looks people in the eye, not with arrogance but with honesty. It is in the way she listens, not to respond but to truly understand. It is in the way she handles failure, not as proof of weakness, but as an opportunity to rise again. Such confidence does not rush, it does not panic, it does not fear. It is steady, grounded, and deeply rooted in self-knowledge. Many people live in constant stress because they do not feel secure in themselves. They try to win approval through achievement, through appearance, through recognition. But this kind of chasing never ends, and the stress only grows. Confidence ends the chase. A confident woman does not run after people's acceptance. She does not measure herself against others. She knows that her worth is not a competition, it is not a race, it is not a comparison. It is simply her truth, and no one can take it away. Think of a mountain. The mountain does not move to prove its height. It does not shrink when others stand taller. It simply stands, and its presence speaks for itself. A woman who knows her worth is like that mountain. She does not need to prove her strength in every moment. She does not need to shout her value into the world. She simply stands firm, and her presence alone becomes her statement. This calm presence is powerful because it changes the way she handles challenges. Where others may collapse under pressure, she breathes deeply and reminds herself who she is. Where others may become defensive when criticized, she listens, takes what is useful, and lets the rest go. Where others may panic in uncertainty, she trusts herself to find a way forward. This steadiness comes only from confidence built on self-worth, not on fragile approval. True confidence also gives freedom. It allows her to say no without guilt because she no longer fears losing people who cannot value her. It allows her to take risks because failure does not threaten her identity. It allows her to shine because she no longer hides behind fear of judgment. She does not walk with heaviness, she walks with lightness because she is free from the constant weight of doubt. There is beauty in this quiet strength. People may not always notice it immediately, but they feel it. They feel more secure around her, more inspired by her, more drawn to her presence. She does not have clarity and focus practices to speak loudly because her calmness speaks louder than any words. She does not demand respect, but respect naturally rises around her. This is the power of true confidence. It is not about proving, it is about being. It is not about shouting, it is about standing. It is not about controlling others. It is about mastering yourself. And when a woman embodies this kind of confidence, stress loses its hold on her. Because her calm presence is rooted in a place where doubt cannot reach. And this is why true confidence is the calm presence of knowing who you are. Because it is in that stillness that the real strength of a woman who knows her worth is revealed. A woman's worth is not measured by opinions, but by her own recognition of it. This truth is simple, yet it carries a depth that can change the way life is lived. Too many people allow their value to rise and fall depending on what others say about them. One moment they are praised and they feel on top of the world. The next moment they are criticized and they feel crushed. But when a woman truly understands her worth, she steps away from this endless cycle. She no longer allows her sense of self to be in the hands of others. Instead, she holds it firmly within herself. Opinions are like passing winds. They shift with time, with moods, with circumstances. One day people may admire you, the next they may judge you, and the next they may forget you. If your worth is tied to these changing winds, you will always feel unstable. But the woman who knows her worth recognizes that opinions, whether good or bad, do not define her. She listens, but she is not defined by them. She acknowledges, but she does not build her life upon them. Her worth comes from within, and that makes it unshakable. Think about this carefully. A diamond does not lose its value because someone fails to recognize it. If someone mistakes it for a stone, it is still a diamond. If someone admires it as precious, it does not suddenly become more valuable than it already was. Its worth exists regardless of perception. A woman who knows her worth is like that diamond. Whether people notice her or not, whether they praise her or not, her value remains the same. She does not rise and fall with external recognition because she is already aware of what she carries inside. This awareness changes how she lives. When a woman recognizes her own worth, she no longer settles for less than she deserves. She no longer accepts disrespect in the name of love. She no longer lowers her standards just to be accepted. She no longer bends until she breaks simply to be liked. Instead, she chooses relationships, opportunities, and paths that reflect her value. She becomes intentional with her life because she knows she is worthy of more than scraps of attention or temporary approval. Stress often comes from trying to keep everyone satisfied, but the woman who knows her worth understands that not everyone will approve, not everyone will agree, not dealing with toxic people wisely everyone will appreciate. And that is perfectly fine. She is not here to live according to the fragile expectations of others. She is here to live her truth. This freedom allows her to move through life with calmness. It gives her courage to make bold decisions, to take risks, and to walk away from what no longer serves her. Because she is not afraid of losing the approval of others, she gains the ability to live authentically. This does not mean she rejects people or becomes cold. On the contrary, when her worth is rooted within, she can give love more freely. She can support others without fear of being taken advantage of. She can encourage without needing something in return. Her love is not a bargain for approval. It is an expression of her strength. And because she does not rely on others to define her value, she is not easily broken when others fail to appreciate her. She remains steady because her foundation is unshakable. Life will always bring voices, some lifting you up and some trying to pull you down. The woman who knows her worth listens with wisdom. She takes lessons from the voices that guide her growth, but she does not allow toxic voices to poison her spirit. She knows that no matter what others see, the truth of who she is remains untouched. That truth is her anchor, her source of peace, and her power. A woman who recognizes her worth walks with a quiet dignity. She does not need to shout her value into the world because her actions, her presence, her choices all reflect it. People may admire her, they may criticize her, but neither changes who she truly is, and this is the kind of strength that makes her not only strong but free, and this is why a woman's worth is not measured by opinions but by her own recognition of it. Because only then does she step into her true power without stress and without fear. Power lies in choosing what stones to carry and what to leave behind. Life is full of burdens, and every person is handed stones along the way. Some stones are responsibilities, some are expectations, some are fears, and some are simply the weight of other people's opinions. Many try to carry them all believing that strength means never letting anything fall. But this is not strength, it is exhaustion. The true strength of a woman who knows her worth is not in carrying every stone that comes her way, but in knowing which ones truly belong to her and which ones can be put down. Stress often begins when we try to hold on to everything. We pick up problems that are not ours. We carry judgments that were never meant for us. We hold on to guilt that does not belong in our hearts. And as the weight increases, life begins to feel overwhelming. But a woman who knows her worth learns the wisdom of choice. She understands that not every burden is hers to carry. She learns to ask herself, does this stone help me grow, or does it only break me? Does it bring meaning, or does it only steal my peace? With this awareness, she begins to let go of the unnecessary weight. Imagine a traveler on a long journey. If she fills her bag with every stone she finds along the path, soon she will be unable to walk at all. But if she chooses wisely, carrying only what is essential, she will walk with strength and reach far beyond what others thought possible. Shaolin monk wisdom on self-mastery. This is the same in life. The woman who knows her worth carries her responsibilities with grace, but she does not break herself to satisfy the endless demands of others. She knows her limits and she respects them. This choice is not selfishness, it is wisdom. There is a difference between carrying the stones of love, duty, and growth, and carrying the stones of doubt, fear, and unnecessary obligation. A strong woman knows how to make this distinction. She does not abandon those who need her, but she also does not abandon herself in the process. She serves others without losing her own balance. She supports with kindness, but does not allow herself to be drained empty. Her power is in her ability to balance giving and preserving, helping and protecting, carrying and letting go. This balance is what keeps her from stress. The world may try to hand her more than she can hold, but she stands firm in her worth. She knows how to say no with clarity. She knows how to set boundaries with strength. She knows how to protect her peace without apology. This is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form, because true strength is not just the ability to endure. It is the ability to choose wisely what deserves your endurance. Many women are taught that sacrifice is their duty, that they must carry everything for everyone, but the woman who knows her worth breaks free from that belief. She understands that she cannot pour from an empty cup. She cannot give if she is broken. She cannot lift others if she herself is crushed beneath unnecessary stones. So she chooses with wisdom, and in that choice lies her power. This power is quiet but visible. People see it in the way she carries her responsibilities without complaint, but also without burnout. They see it in the way she loves deeply yet still protects her heart. They see it in the way she works with dedication, but also knows when to rest. Her choices reflect her strength, and her strength inspires others to choose wisely too. In this way, she becomes an example of balance, of clarity, of resilience. She shows that life is not about carrying everything, it is about carrying what matters, and because she knows her worth, she refuses to let unnecessary weight steal her energy, her peace, or her joy. She walks lighter, stronger, and freer than those who try to hold on to everything, and this is why power lies in choosing what stones to carry and what to leave behind. Because in that choice, a woman protects her strength and proves she is strong, not stressed. The woman who knows her worth cannot be broken, only refined. Life does not spare anyone from trials. Storms will come, challenges will arrive, people will disappoint, and failures will test the spirit. But for a woman who is rooted in her worth, these trials do not destroy her, they shape her. She may bend, but she does not break. She may fall, but she rises again with greater strength. She may be hurt, but even in the hurt she learns. She grows, she transforms. There is a fire within every woman who has discovered her value. This fire is not easily extinguished. When hardships press against her, they do not weaken her foundation, they only polish it. Just like gold is purified through fire, her character is refined through struggle. She does not fear difficulties because she understands that each difficulty is an opportunity to reveal more of her strength. Where others see obstacles as endings, she sees them as beginnings. Where others see loss, she sees lessons. Where others give up, she finds new ways to move forward. This resilience does not mean she feels no pain. It does not mean she hides her tears or pretends that struggles do not exist. It means that even in her moments of weakness, she holds on to her inner truth. She knows that one failure does not define her. One mistake does not erase her worth. One rejection does not diminish her value. She understands that she is bigger than the storm around her, and because of this understanding, she is never truly broken. Think of a seed success mindset and personal growth inspiration buried deep in the ground. To the outside eye, it may look as if it has been crushed by the weight of soil, but within that pressure, something powerful happens. The seed begins to break open, not to die, but to grow into something greater. In the same way, when life places its weight on a woman of worth, it may seem like she is being broken, but in reality she is being refined, prepared to rise stronger, prepared to bloom in ways she never thought possible. This refinement gives her a beauty that cannot be manufactured. It gives her a strength that cannot be faked. People notice that no matter what she goes through, She carries herself with dignity. They see that hardships do not make her bitter, they make her wiser. They see that pain does not close her heart, it makes her compassion deeper. She becomes an example of resilience not by avoiding struggles, but by transforming them into stepping stones. Stress often breaks those who build their worth on fragile foundations like approval, possessions, or status. When these things are shaken, they collapse, but the woman who knows her worth is built on something unshakable. She is built on self-awareness, on inner strength, on truth. This is why she cannot be destroyed by the storms of life. She may change, she may adapt, she may be refined, but she is never shattered. The world respects this kind of resilience. It inspires others, especially those who are struggling to find their own strength. When they see her rise after falling, when they see her smile after tears, when they see her stand after being pushed down, they are reminded of their own power. Her resilience is not just for herself. It becomes a light for others to follow. This is the essence of true power. It is not in living a life without trials.